Hey, it's Travis. You're back in the scrum. I'm going to do a retrospective on the NFC and AFC Championship games before I give you my Super Bowl pick. So I'm glad you're here. Stay tuned. Hey, so beginning with the Bills and Chiefs, I think the Bills had the Chiefs on the ropes in the second half, largely due to the fact that they were starting to run James Cook. I know a lot of people are focused on that fourth down call, and that's probably, that's probably one of the worst calls you're going to see. And I think when you have as many resources dedicated to the game, 5, 6 officials on the field, 2 in the booth or 3 in the booth, 1 guy controlling the camera and watching the film in New York, if you got that many resources dedicated to the game, you could at least get it right, or make an attempt to give us a reasonable explanation as to why these 2 guys could not come to an agreement. It's done, it's over with. But at the same time, I also have to mention this. That particular play reminded me of the Super Bowl when, the Patriots played the Seahawks and you got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, you're short yardage near the goal line, and they try to throw a quick slant. Game. Because we saw the Bills make so many mistakes. In that last series, by the way, or actually the last 5 minutes of the game, that was probably the worst 5 minutes of football you're ever going to witness in all 3 phases. And to top it off, for the Bills, the first play was a toss sweep, and it wasn't even to their best back. Now, I don't know. I didn't have to look at the film to see who was running the football, okay? So, my bad. But I would bet that if James Cook had been the one taking that pitch, even though he sees that tackle break into the backfield, I would imagine that he's going to break that ball to the outside. He's going to dash toward the sideline and at least try to bend it upfield instead of cutting back where he's got nowhere to go. So that put the offense behind the 8 ball right there. The rest of the game, it is what it is. Defensively, the Bills really didn't impress me. I saw them play a few games this year, and the defense looked really good. But in this game, they were constantly out of position. Their tackling was horrible. They actually looked like the Saints when they were tackling, and they were just really erratic. I saw guys, all pro players, and I'm not going to name anybody. That's not, I don't want to, that's not why I want to do this. But I saw guys who perennial all pros looking lost on the field, jogging towards tackles. It just didn't make any sense. So as a result, they were always one step behind. Now, the Chiefs have won a lot of one-score games this season. And, we can go back and talk about some of the play calls that have gone their way. They've had a lot of luck. Luck is a big part of life, but so is preparation. And I think one of the things the Chiefs do extremely well is they take advantage of the other team's mistakes. So, now that's why they're in the Super Bowl. Hey, so I can pretty much sum up Washington and Philly like this. Saquon Barkley is on fire. So, hey, if you like what you've heard thus far, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come back and see me tomorrow when I make my Super Bowl pick. Peace. Look, hey, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, I don't think we've seen a running back be this dominant in the regular season or the postseason and still look very refreshed doing it, right? Tip of the hat to the Commanders, but they were just overmatched. And while that team's going to continue to improve and probably be a threat to the Eagles in a couple of years, maybe next season, the game really came down to Barkley running the ball and running behind a very talented and very motivated offensive line, I noticed. I kind of think maybe they were hoping that he would break Eric Dickerson's record of 248. I think he probably could have broke it if he would have had more carries in that game. But they were very physical up front. And, Washington, they came out, they tried to counterpunch, but that's what happens. The Eagles, especially on defense, were very physical. And because they were so physical and so fast, they were actually able to dictate Washington's offense to them. Now that's going to be tougher against the Chiefs. And in fact, I'll say this in closing this video, for real this time. If you want to know the character of a football team, if you want to know the culture of a football team, watch how they block, watch how they tackle, watch how they play the game when they're away from the ball, right? Watch how those players react, and then you'll know if you've got guys who are actually functioning as a cohesive unit, all for one and one for all. Peace. See you tomorrow. This is because